I start a new series called So Good. I hope you get the pun. I want to do a lot more stitching on my pages because I find the texture and the dimension to be a lot of fun. And I thought I could share with you guys how I use stitching on my layouts and what I do with it when it is on a page. First off, I want to show you how I typically do my outlines for my stitching. For me, the easiest way to create a nice stitch pattern or outline is to print it out from the computer. I would pick, let's say, a word. In this instance, I picked the word love, and I picked a nice bold, thick font on a word processor. So I'm using Microsoft Word, and I'm making it as big as I can on the 8.5 by 11 copy size paper. And basically I just print that out to the size that I want, and I will take it as my template. As you can see, I have used washi tape to hold my copy paper down so it doesn't move as I am piercing through the copy paper and my pattern sheet of paper. I'm choosing to do an outline of the word, and that's why I want it so bold. You want to use a bolder font when you're using words so that they're a lot easier to read, and it shows off a lot better when you're done stitching. Originally, I did have this positioned on the lower half of my pattern sheet of paper. I thought I would put my photos above the word love, but after looking at how plain it might turn out, I decided to just slant it and take up as much of the paper as possible and just run it a diagonal from the lower left to the upper right. This pattern sheet of paper has a bit of pink, yellow, and green. Because it's so white, I thought I could use the green color, and that would be the thread I'm using to stitch the word love. It would turn out a lot bolder beneath this pattern sheet of paper because there's not that much dark colors on it. I'm not going to have you sit through the entire time it took for me to stitch the word, so I will jump ahead. I did use the back stitch for this stitching process. It's nothing fancy, and this is how it turned out. For this page, I am going to scrapbook the 2 selfies my boyfriend and I took after he had proposed. They're pretty much the same photo. One is a little bit more yellow, and the other one's a little bit more white. So to make them a little bit more similar in color, I use these transparencies that I've been holding onto for a while, and I thought it would help add some filtering to both the photos so they're more aligned in what colors they are. My method for adhering transparencies onto anything is always my stapler. So I'm using my tiny attacher in 2 of the corners of the transparencies so they don't move off the photo and stay attached. I wanted to put one of the photos above the word love towards the left-hand corner, and then another one below the word love towards the right-hand corner. And they were just a little bit too big for that space, so I am cutting them down to hopefully have them fit within the remaining part of the page that I left for them. Unfortunately, the 4x6 was just too big for this layout, so I end up just actually cutting off majority of the right side of the photo on both photos, so that basically just the picture of my boyfriend and I remain. I don't have any issues with this about losing, that transparency border or losing some of my background, because the main focus of the photo is about us, and we're still on the page. And getting rid of part of it is just the process of making things work out and going with the flow of the layout. I do come back in with my stapler and reattach the other side that got cut off to make sure the transparency doesn't move. I pulled out these chipboard pieces. They're glittered chipboard pieces that came in a Heidi Swapp Project Life kit, and I thought they worked really well because of the colors. There's this teal colored one, and then I have also a pink colored one, which goes really well with the pattern paper background. I adhered those glittered scalloped bunting banners to places where it wasn't covering anything important in the photo, like my ring or our faces. I don't know what inspired the next part, but I saw how much empty space each of my letters had inside the stitching, and I wanted to make it stand out more. So I went and grabbed these foiled sequins that I had purchased from Target. I picked up the gold ones and the rose gold ones and decided that I would basically outline the letters with these gold sequins. I also decided I wanted to alternate the colors. So for the letter L, I used the gold ones, and then for the letter O, I used the rose gold ones, and then again for the V, I used the gold ones, and then for the letter E, I used the rose gold ones. I really liked how these turned out. It wasn't what I thought I was going to do, but it helps the words stand out even more on this page. I used hot glue for the sequins. It was fine for me, though it does get a little tricky, and sometimes I do end up burning my fingertips because I'm trying to place the little sequins on top of this glob of hot glue. But I'm sure you can also use craft glue or even a glue dot underneath each sequence, and that would relieve you from getting burnt by a hot glue gun. Now for the embellishments, I want to use this pretty chalkboard chipboard sticker that says beautiful, so that my title ends up being Beautiful Love. And part of the sticker package came with all these other sentiments that works really well. I picked happily grateful and picture perfect. I wanted to add some more pink to the page, so I pulled out some of these wood buttons I had gotten from Michaels after their Valentine's Day sales and picked out 3 that are really cute. I think I ended up actually picking out 4. One says you and me. There's a double heart in another one. I have an XOXO, and then I think the 4th one I add is the one to the lower left by the arrow, and I add just another heart right there. I had added arrows to both sides of the page to balance it out. One is right by the L and the other one's right by the E. I also add this banner, this black and clear triangle banner to the left side of my lower photo to help balance out the other black embellishments on my page. And here I am picking out my final wood button that I mentioned earlier that I add to the lower left of the page. And that's my page. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, please give me a thumbs up. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them below. And I hope you have a crafty day.